we're going a little bit low tech for this video. If you can hear that hum, that is my desktop attempting to convert the video from this morning, which is part 2 of the video you're expecting tomorrow, which you'll get tomorrow, hopefully in the morning, if not in the evening. But it's converting and I'm hoping it'll be done soon so I can start editing. Huzzah! So there's another thing I wanted to start doing for you guys, and that is question and answer videos, because they're more fun than reading a bunch of text on a screen. So I have my questions right here that have been asked, and I thought I would go through and say who asked them and answer the question and see what's going on. I have a question from Jen, and she asks, I have to ask mostly because I love your photos and also because my printer is on the way out. Do you have a hot tip for a little old colored printer for home, or is the trick in the paper? The trick is in the paper. That's the truth. I have paper that I spent money on. It's $15 for a ream, and I got it from a printer supply shop. And I'm going to run really fast, and you're going to hear from off camera. Me grabbing it. Should have had this prepared beforehand. This is the paper I use. It's from Kelly Paper, and it's their brand of paper. And it is 80-pound cover. And I went in there and I said, I have a laser printer and I want to print really pretty things on it. And they said, well, here's this paper. It's made for inkjet and laser printers, and it's nice and thick and creamy and yummy. And that's what I use, and I do art prints on it. I print all my photos on it. Anything that I want to look really nice, I print on it. It's worth it to invest the money. I've had that ream for about a year. Like I said, I do prints for my Etsy shop. I do a whole bunch of photo printing. I print stuff for myself all of the time here, and it's wonderful and lovely, smooth and creamy. So it definitely has to do with the paper that you're using. As for a printer, I have a Lexmark, and it has an issue feeding the paper. I have to like manually feed it, and you can see that likes to cut off the top of things. It's a Zen practice I have discovered doing it for so many years. I have a laser HP, which is lovely, but you have to buy ink about twice a year, and it's $100, but worth it because it prints way faster. My brother has a Canon. I really like my Lexmark despite the feed problem for this reason. It comes with a three-year warranty, but if you have a problem with it, you can call them and bitch at them in Detroit, and they will fix your problem. I had a problem with the print head, and they sent me a whole new print head and new ink for no charge. So on the whole, I'm actually pretty happy with it. The Vivix inks are amazing. I've used HP in the past. I've used the Canon. Actually does a really decent job. Really, go out there, go to Walmart, find a deal on a printer. It's all about the ink and the paper, honestly. Get one with, I have Vivix ink, or that's made for photo ink. Get some really nice paper that'll last you a long time, and you'll be set. So people are talking really loud, and I told them not to because I'm filming. We're just going to ignore what they say. I have a question here from Jin. And they say, I recently discovered Samantha's website from YouTube. She uses the gel sticks, and you can't find it on their site. It's actually under the kids section, not the adult section, the gel sticks that I use, and I get them at Joann Fabrics. I've also seen them at Jerry's Art Aroma, and I'm pretty sure Dick Blick Online has them, only because Dick Blick has everything. So go there. Let's see. I have a note from Anna, and she's asking, what is the best paper to use? Can you use sketchbook paper? I need some supplies, you know, stuff like that. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Supply list, you can find video. I'm going to, hopefully in the future, that will be a video in that corner of my revised supply list. Again, it's all about the paper. Paper is like the big thing. So I used to use poster board from Walmart, and it worked pretty well. Now I use Stonehenge, the Parrot Sheet Stonehenge printmaking paper, mostly because I get it from Jerry's for $1.40 a sheet, and I make a journal out of 3 of them. You can use anything. My first art journal was in a lined moleskin notebook. The best paper is going to be heavier, so anything over 90-pound paper you can use, and it's going to roll a little. All paper does. Every paper will, unless you're using like 300-pound hot press watercolor paper, but then you have a shitload of money and you don't need to be watching me to get answers. You can like call up someone famous. So those are the papers I would use. I'll be having journals in my shop probably by March, so you can always get one there. But yeah, print making paper, I know Reeves BFK is really good. The hot press paper is really nice, but it's really expensive. And I always am really intimidated if I'm working on a piece of paper that costs more than $2 for the parent sheet, because that's a big investment. I use a sketchbook. I do watercolors in a regular sketchbook and it works out fine. I have a sketch Moleskine. I use watercolors in that, it works out fine. Don't get caught up in the details like that. Okay, 2 more questions, then I'll leave you alone. Okay, then I have one from Dawn, and she's asking a question. She's asking a question about gesso, and she says, I've been using like 2 and 3 coats, but do I really need that many? I'm pretty broke and I don't want to waste the gesso. I got a big bottle, it wasn't cheap. Okay, when I first got gesso, it said, put this on the canvas and wait 24 hours. And I was like, I am not waiting 24 hours. I never wait 24 hours. Gesso is lucky if I wait until it's actually dry for me to start working on it. I would say rule of thumb, 1 coat of gesso, like, you know, don't have a wet brush, just put a coat of gesso down, so like the whole piece of paper has gesso on it somewhere. Leave it for like 10 minutes, come back and work on it, it's fine. It's still going to be tacky, it still might come up a little bit, but honestly, it's an art journal, just have fun with it. Don't worry about waiting overnight or doing, I've never done more than 1 coat of gesso, honestly. I've done canvases, I've never done more than 1 coat. So just do 1 and go have a glass of wine or watch a 30-minute TV show on your DVR, because it's 20 minutes then. And then come back and do some art and it'll be fun. Them's my advice. 1 more. This is from Linda, and I actually answered most of her question in email, but then I was like, you asked such an interesting question, I thought I would just answer it again. Okay, so she was asking about, because I showed my Moleskine that had Copic, and I said I use my Copic Multiliners in it, and she was asking, because Copics bleed through everything, and I pretty much said that. Copics will bleed through pretty much any paper. I use like 1 10-pound paper, and it bleeds through a little bit, especially if you're blending with the blender pen. That's just going to happen. You can work with them over gesso. I shouldn't say I should say, I know someone who used to be a rep, and I asked her, I said, should I use these over gesso? And she said, no, it will be bad for the tip. So don't use it over like naked gesso. If you're going to do Copic stuff, do it first, then put down the gesso. If you're going to work over gesso, put down some paint and go over the paint, because for some reason I feel like the paint is nicer than the gesso. Let's see. If you, I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, they bleed through everything. Get marker paper, they will bleed through it. They don't bleed through the paper I use in my journal so much, which I said is like 1 10-pound paper. But yeah, don't use them over like naked gesso, just like over it. And your tip will start turning like a lighter color, and you'll see that, and you'll be like, what? And I'll be like, yeah, that's what happens. So she was asking what I was talking about that I used. And I said I use the Copic Multiliners in my Moleskine because they are waterproof and bleed proof in like every single way possible. So I can draw with them, and then I can go over them with any kind of marker or watercolors, and they are awesome. And then I said I use the refillable ones, which are nice and shiny and silver and expensive, and the nibs were like, eh. But I have, you can't even read the writing on this anymore. Here. You can't even see the writing on there anymore. But this is what they look like if you can't refill them. And I have these, and I love them. The nibs last for a long time for me, and I haven't had to refill any of them yet. So that's a pretty good sign because I use them all the time. But I love those. They're the non-refillable ones. If you can find a set of those, it'll be less money. I mean, unless you're like an illustrator using them all the time, like every single day for like ever, okay, fine, get the refillable ones. But, I mean, I have a refillable one. I have the black refill, various ink. I mean, it would probably be cost effective for me, but the nibs just seem to crap out on me faster on those than any of the other ones. Okay, I think that's pretty much, so that is, oh, hold on. So that is the end of Q&A for this week. Very low tech, no intro, no exit. I'm just going to upload it directly from the camera. Yay, so we'll see how that goes. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at any of the links down below. I have a Tumblr, I have a Twitter, I have a Facebook, I have a YouTube, obviously. I don't really check the, that's my Skype. I don't really check the messages in the inbox on YouTube, so if you have to send me a question, leave it as a comment here, or send me an email, or go to Twitter and hit me at an @reply, or go to Tumblr, journalgirl.tumblr.com, and ask a question there. There's like a little archive. Someone is calling me. Oh my gosh! Oh! Okay. It's Robin Marie. I have to answer that in a minute. So leave questions for next week's Q&A, and I have a stamp here, and I will give this lucky little stamp to one of you. So comment here on YouTube with a question for next week's questions and answers segment, and you could win this stamp. I'll leave it open until, let's see, next Wednesday, and then I'll post another one. So there you go. Until next week then, I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna run now. Bye.